Hey guys, today's a video I've been wanting to shoot for a while, but I wanted to get a couple months under my belt on it before I gave you my impressions of it. I bought this about 3 months ago, and this is my 2017 Harley Davidson Iron 883. The bike you're looking at now has been modified since I bought it. When I bought it, it was bone stock. A couple things I did to it just so you guys know right away. Put some exhaust on it, just Bassani exhaust, nothing too fancy. I like how it looks stock, that's why I chose those. Put the rear seat on here, the sissy bar, and then I did put this fairing on here. This is actually a quick detach fairing, so you can pull this clip right here and the fairing pops right off. It's been great at removing some wind off my chest. It does not protect my face, but it definitely helps if you're on the highway, taking some of the buffeting off of you. I also then did put this LED headlight on it. That halo hopefully pops up in the video. That was the best purchase ever. It was $55 on Amazon, and it definitely made the bike rideable. At night, this thing's stock headlights are terribly awful. Anyway, enough with the aftermarket stuff. What do I think about it? This bike has been perfect for me. I was a little hesitant to buy a Sportster 883. You see a lot of hate online for these bikes. I'm 5'7". I'm about 180 pounds, give or take. And for me, this bike has been almost flawless. I'd say if you're under 6 feet, give it a test ride before you make any judgments. For me, it has enough power. Cruises down the highway at 80, 85, and it does admittedly work a little hard, but the bike still makes 50, 55 horsepower, has plenty of low-end torque, and it is a 5-speed transmission, so that first gear, they actually gear it super low, so it takes off really quick right off the line. A couple other stats, it's about 550 pounds. I come from the world of sport bikes, and so at first I was really worried about the weight. It's kind of funny, in Harley world, this is their smallest, lightest bike, but in a lot of other motorcycles, this would be considered heavy, but you don't feel the weight. Has a very low seat. I'm 5'7", and I easily flat foot the bike. I'll quickly show you guys where I'm at when I sit on it. So you sit on it, and I easily flat foot it, bend in my knee. So I imagine this would be quite comfortable if you're 5'10", maybe even 5'11". I bought the bike. It only had 73 miles on it, which is why I bought it. I put about 500 miles on the bike. Now the question that I'm still debating is how is it for two-up riding? I got the passenger seat and the backrest for my girlfriend, who has turned out to like riding on the back of this thing more than I thought. Around town, this bike is totally okay for two-up riding. It's got enough power. It accelerates fine. On the highway, it is working a little harder. I had this in my passenger on the highway. We were going about 80, and it was working hard. This isn't a bike that I would go on a 2-hour-long road trip with a passenger. I definitely would by myself. This bike does cruise down the highway just fine. It's probably not as good as a big, full fairing touring motorcycle, but it's fine. Unless you're doing a lot of touring, this definitely will get to do the job. A couple other things. I've averaged about 50 miles per gallon. The tank is a little small, and there's no fuel light. Two things I don't like. The fuel tank looks great, but it's 3.3 gallons and about 50 miles per gallon. My gas light is always coming on after about 100 miles. And I wish there was a fuel gauge, because it is kind of annoying when you're just riding and you get surprised by the light. So that's a little annoying. Otherwise, no other real complaints. There's kits out there. You can bore this thing out. It costs about $1,200, and all of a sudden you're making 80 horsepower with this bike. So if you really are after performance, this is bang for buck. You get one of these, bore it out, and you're all in at about $8-9 grand. That would be a good option. So yeah, I guess that's my quick take of my Harley Davidson. What do I think of Harley Davidson? This is my first ever cruiser. Like I said, I come from crotch rockets, and I am really liking it. I'm about to turn 30 years old, and as much as crotch rockets are fun, they suck on the highway. They suck for any type of real travel. This thing's awesome for just cruising around, going from point A to point B, and just, it's about the journey, not the destination on this thing, I feel like. And I have been pleasantly surprised. People often complain too, Harleys are too expensive. It is expensive. This bike, even though it was used, I paid around, sorry, that's my dog. I paid around $8,000 for it, even though it was 4 years old. But I gotta say, everything on this bike is such good quality. This mirror, for example, that's solid metal. This isn't a plastic piece like you would find on a Honda Shadow, for example. I cross-shopped this with a new Honda Shadow, and on the Honda Shadow, this was plastic on the Honda Shadow. Here, this is a metal fender. Everything that you look at is metal. All the chrome bits, there's no fake plastic anywhere. So I will say you pay a little more, but I do feel like you are getting a really quality product here. The engine, one more time, this engine is it's the 883cc Evo engine. Its roots actually go back to 1986. It's been tweaked and modified a little since then, of course, but arguably it is roughly the same motor for the past 25 years. Some people, or 30 years, some people don't like that. This motor is very bulletproof. It's probably the most reliable engine Harley Davidson has ever made. It does have a nice rumble to it. It doesn't shake your hands off. I've done, an hour drive on it. It doesn't shake my hands off, but it feels very visceral. If you're a person that likes machines, you like the feel of riding, you like the feel of, a machine, this bike does a wonderful job of making you feel connected to your motorcycle. It's not like a metric bike like a Yamaha, where it's as smooth as a sewing machine and you clink through the gears and it's this nice tactile click. It's a little more rough. And it's designed that way, though. It's not designed that way because it's imperfect. They design it that way because that's what people like. People sometimes just want something a little more visceral and old school, and this definitely does it. I love the blacked out look. And like I said, when you get a Harley, I've come to find out that you get what you pay for in terms of just material quality. And just, even right here, you get the little Harley logo on these dual shocks. Suspension is pretty adequate. Wouldn't call it perfect. Once you get two people on there, it does bottom out relatively quick. It's still fine. Again, it's fine. For the price point, you can't ask for any more. The one thing that did surprise me a lot about this bike is this right here. This bike is completely keyless. There is a keyhole right here for the steering column lock, but this is a complete push-button start, which surprised me. I didn't expect to find that on a 2017 used Harley Davidson like this. So that was very surprising and very nice. You don't need to put the key in and worry about it scratching up your tank. I'll fire this up for you guys so you can hear the exhaust. It is quite loud. Just backing it out of my driveway a little. Let me fire it up. So that was a cold start, quite loud. Again, these are the Bassani exhaust on it. That exhaust has proven to be very, very helpful for me. People notice you more, they definitely see you. And I actually have the baffles in it, because otherwise I thought it was a little too loud. It's enough to make your neighbors aware, but not enough to make them call the cops, as I like to say. So that's my quick take, kind of review of the Iron 883. My take is, there's two camps of this bike. There's people that love Sportsters and defend them to the grave, and there's people that hate on them. A lot of hate. I'm right in the middle. It's a great bike if you're not if you're not big, if you're under 6 feet tall, and you're looking for a motorcycle that you're never going to really ride more than an hour away. This bike does the job perfect. It's fast. It's quick. It's nimble. It looks great. It sounds great. It's cheap to maintain. The service on this is every 5,000 miles. That's it. So I'm hoping this is going to be a long bike. And this is also a tinker's dream. If you love to modify your motorcycle, there's about 1,000 things you can do to this motorcycle. I mean, when I looked up that sissy bar, there's about 100 sissy bars to choose from. Or if you bought a product like a Yamaha or even like an Indian, you'd struggle to find some options for some parts. Where that air cleaner, which is still stock, haven't decided if I want to change that out yet. There's about 90 different air cleaners I found. There's about 20 exhausts I could have chose from. So if you like to also work on your bike, if you want to make a bike your own, this platform, the Sportster platform, is arguably the best bike to do that with as well. I mean, even this fairing, you can find a full fairing for these Sportsters, or you can find just a little windshield. You can find something in the middle like this. It's another great example. So, all right, guys, I've rambled long enough. It's a great bike. If you're not looking for something to tour with, this is a great option. Again, 2-up riding. If you do it occasionally, awesome. If you do it all the time, admittedly, you might want to get something bigger. Me and my girlfriend are already talking about possibly upgrading next year because she is enjoying riding on the back of this way more than we anticipated. So we might have to upgrade to something a little bigger, maybe the soft tail line next year. But for now, it's doing the job great. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Any questions, comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.